Hey everybody, welcome back to ChortleCast. I'm one of your hosts for tonight, Jake. And with me as always, he's the Stream King. He's the Far Cry guy. He's the man who may cry devil, and he's the most opinionated person I know, Steven. What's up, buddy?
Is that true?
You're one of the most opinionated people I know, for sure. And I'm just going to tell you right now, Steven, I totally forgot to add our background music, so I'm
I was
about
going
to
to say
add
it
it.
sounded dead in
And
here.
it's gonna, we're all about to hear a really loud music. All right. So I just want Steven, I want your best dance move. Okay. While I get this in and I set it up.
Okay.
Listeners, viewers, watchers of content, I want yours as well. And we will judge you. So ready?
Okay.
3, 2, 1. It's added.
I want too loud.
Steven.
I'm doing my dance right now. Can you tell?
Well, you know, that's kind of
I'm river dancing.
I started. I could have. Let me tell you this. I could have done that so fast that it really probably wouldn't have been noticeable. Yeah. But I let it hang a little longer because I wanted to see what your dance move was going to be, and you failed me. You let me down. So you don't know.
You don't know?
No, I do know. I do know. I do know. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is ChortleCast, the official podcast of Chortle Games, where we talk about video games, TV shows, movies, anime, but mostly whatever the heck we want to talk about. We got a great show for you tonight. We are going to be going to reddit.com r/unpopular opinions. And we're going to talk about and look at some unpopular opinions and make some judgment calls on, is this opinion popular or are these people whack? And what I'm hoping will happen is that I will agree on some things and Steven will think I'm whack. And Steven will agree on things, and I will think he's whack. Or, Steven, what we might find out, what we might learn, is that you and I are actually a lot more normal than we think we are. You know?
That's not going to happen.
I mean, that's not what I'm expecting, but we could have, anything could happen, Steven. I just want you to know that. Before we just jump right into it, first off, everyone give your love to Flynn in the chat. He's jumped up. He's getting some pets.
There he is.
Steven, so this wasn't where I was going to jump to, but now that Flynn is here, I have some questions because viewers and listeners may not know. If you're in the Discord, you may know. But this past weekend, Flynn did a first, okay, and I frankly have just been concerned for your safety, for Anna's safety, but Flynn tasted blood this weekend. All right, he killed a squirrel and ate some of it, from what I understand, and it didn't agree with him.
Do you want the gruesome details?
Has he become bloodthirsty? Has he attempted murder?
He is not. When he was a puppy, he actually killed a bird.
So he's had the blood. He's
tasted blood
for a while.
The difference is he didn't eat the bird.
Right.
I think he was trying to play with the bird. It was really sad because it was a dead bird and he kept trying to play with it, and there was another bird that was trying to distract him so that the other bird could get away. It was the saddest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I love
how depending on whose perspective you're watching in this movie, it's either a really sad story about a dog trying to play with an already dead bird, and that's really sad, or it's this horrifying story of a dog that killed your
bird that becomes
a villain. Yeah.
So this weekend, we let Flynn outside to just do his own thing for a little while, because honestly we need to let him do his own thing for a little while most of the time.
He is a strong independent pup.
He tends to be. But I went outside to check on him, and I saw something hang out of his mouth. And I'm just gonna give the gruesome details. If you're not into that, wait 60 seconds.
Just skip ahead. Just skip ahead.
Skip ahead. I'm not going to talk about this for longer than a minute.
I like how we said skip ahead on a live podcast. Just skip ahead. Maybe pause the video for 60 seconds and then jump ahead.
Hit the mute button if you're watching live. I'll do this whenever I'm done talking about the dead squirrel. So anyway, I went over and I noticed that it looked like something fluffy, and I was like, oh gosh, please tell me that's not a squirrel tail. And then I started to pry open his mouth a little bit, see what was in there, and I saw a squirrel paw sticking between his teeth, and it was Oh no. So clearly the thing was dead. So I tried to get it away from him, but I wasn't going to touch it because obvious reasons. So I just kept telling him, like, Flynn, spit it out. And he wouldn't. He just kept, chomping on it, where he'd just like chew a little bit. And eventually it fell in half and he swallowed the bottom half. And so I had to dispose of the top half. And then when I brought him in to put him in the kennel for not listening, he threw up the bottom half. So I had to dispose of the bottom half as well. And that was his first experience with squirrels.
So which was worse, the top or the bottom half for you?
Definitely the top.
Okay, I'm just curious.
The face.
Well, yeah. I mean, I get it. That's what I would have assumed, but I just,
And also the bottom half was quick avert for a second again. The bottom half was also indistinguishable because it was mixed together with other.
Okay, all right, there you go. That's good. That's great. What a great start to this podcast. Well,
but we love him. He's a great dog.
I'm just glad to know that he hasn't tried to kill you since then. That's all. That's what I was really worried about.
He would never. In fact, this morning he was really cuddly. He's never like that.
Oh, bless him.
Yeah,
bless him. So sweet. Well, Speaking of life-altering revelations that happened this weekend, Kingdom Hearts 4 was announced, Steven. A trailer was shown, and I, as a huge Kingdom Hearts fan, just don't know how I feel about it yet. I'm starting to kind of come to terms with it, that Kingdom Hearts is not done in my life. And I was starting to tell you this before we started recording. And it's just something I've kind of realized over the last day or so, mulling over it. First off, my opinions on the trailer, I don't like the look of it. I really hope that is so early in development.
It looks really weird.
It looks like PlayStation Home, which, if anyone's familiar with that, like, kudos to you. You're probably more familiar with like Afterlife, which is like this weird. Is it an MMO? Is that what that is? I don't even know. That was like. Oh, you don't know about Afterlife? No. Afterlife was basically the metaverse before the metaverse was the thing. It was a game that people just pretty much just.
Are you talking about Second Life?
Second Life. What did I say? Afterlife?
Afterlife. Yeah, I know about Second Life. Yeah, Second Life is where Dwight Schrute, when he was mourning his broken relationship, went and made a second version of himself that was also working at a paper company, who made a version of Second Life in the game called Second Life. Oh, what a good show.
Anyway, it looks like it was made in that, and so I hope that this is just how he looks in that world, right? But also I'm just I don't know. I was hoping Kingdom Hearts 3 would be the end, and then it wasn't, and I was already kind of not sure how to feel about that. But what I've come to realize, Steven, is that when I die and Kingdom Hearts 20 is coming out, I'm gonna look back at my life and say, my whole life this franchise has followed me. Okay. I grew up with this franchise. All right. I didn't realize this until this trailer was shown at the 20th anniversary event, and it dawned on me. I was 9 when I played my first Kingdom Hearts game, and like that's I might have even been 8 because of how birthdays work, but also just because I don't know. I was a little late to the Kingdom Hearts game, but Kingdom Hearts, I often say, made me a gamer, because that was one of the first games that I saw on TV. I told my mom, I need this system so I can play this game. And then I played it. And then obviously, I want to say I was like 15 or 16 the next game. And anyways, just followed me all the way to here I am, 29. And now I'm looking forward to, probably when I'm 35, I'll be playing Kingdom Hearts 4. So who knows? It'll just be with me my whole life. But anyway, we'll see how it goes.
See, I'm of a different school of thought, where because franchises at this point, IP is king. So king. Franchises are just very rarely going to die moving forward until the importance of intellectual property changes to not be as important, but that's never going to happen. So to me, I am I am not against, and I'm very much in favor of finding exit ramps for franchises, because I want to remember series that were important to me for when they were important to me, and not have their names sullied. For example, when I have children, they're not going to be anywhere near Star Wars episodes 7 through 9. They didn't exist. They didn't happen. Marvel, as of right now, the MCU ended with Endgame, unfortunately. Because everything after is just kind of sucked.
No.
In terms of large scope universe storytelling. Because that's just how it is now. Like, things that make money never end. And they hit that point to where they should have stopped. And then they do what Supernatural did, and they double that length of that life, where they should have ended at the end of season 5, and they ended up having like 15 seasons.
It's funny that you're bringing this up. This is an interesting deviation that we're taking here, but I love it. I 100% agree with you that a franchise should end while it's good before it lives too long and becomes bad, right? I think Assassin's Creed is a great example of this. Being just a series that just kept going until it didn't know what it.
And it's the same with movies, TV shows, video games, everything.
Yes. Now, what's interesting, and I do want to kind of bring this up, because Assassin's Creed is a bad example of this, but a good example, maybe, I don't know if it's a good example or not. Doctor Who is what I'm getting at. All right. Doctor Who has gone on for so many centuries, not centuries, has gone on for so many seasons. Yes. But it's almost like they reboot every season, right?
Right.
And I'm also thinking of like Batman, right? Whenever we get a new Batman movie, it's almost always a reboot, right? We get these sequels, we get these trilogies, we get these sagas, whatever, and then eventually people move on and do whatever. And so I think the Marvel MCU is kind of in this weird era of, okay, what do we do now? We took our full idea and ran away from that, and now we're getting away from it. Same with Kingdom Hearts. Like, I think Kingdom Hearts vaguely had an idea of what it wanted to say and do, and it did it in the third game, and now they're going off to something else. And so it's just like, I don't know. Brody's coming in here and saying, as long as your kid watches Bluey, Steven, it's okay. And then he also said, I hope that my grandchildren are reading One Piece with me. But really though.
It depends on the franchise. Like, Doctor Who is a good example for like when it's probably okay, because all they're doing is doing basically a reboot every season, because it fits with what it means to be Doctor Who, and Doctor Who is more of a collection of ideas and concepts rather than a continual story, or at least that's my understanding.
I know, I'm sure, in fact, that I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again because every time it comes up, I think it's worth saying. Avatar: The Last Airbender, as a franchise, should just do what Doctor Who did. And I'm frustrated with Korra because it went so hard that it's not possible to do that idea anymore.
Right.
But that Avatar has a better formula for what Doctor Who is doing than Doctor Who does. I think so. I understand the whole reincarnation, or not, I don't forget what they call it. It's blanking on me now. We need Doctor Who, the commenter, to come in now. The reincarnation system, like, as I understand, from what I understand from like longtime fans, the very first person that went through that, that person was done, like was tired of being on the show and wanted to be done, or something like that. Contracts ran out,
right?
And instead of ending the show and moving on, they just recast him. Came up with this idea of like he just reincarnates, and so, you know what I mean? Like they kind of built the system around the real world need for a new actor, which is cool, which is fine. But like the Avatar from the onset of the story is all about how each life, the cycle goes on and the cycle continues. And so I don't know. I feel like it's a better setup.
I feel like what keeps it from being a better setup is the world itself, because the world doesn't lend itself to, in my perspective, the world doesn't lend itself to intergenerational storytelling, because I feel like it would get really stale, or it would kind of jump the shark, kind of like Korra did, to where we went from very traditional fantasy hard magic system, that kind of stuff, to in Korra when we've got like steampunk cities and spirit bending and whatever.
And see, I think Korra just went way too hard, way too fast. Because if you think about it, I forget how many avatars there were before Aang. And even then, it was 100 years, right, that Aang was gone.
Right.
Like, society didn't advance that much. You know what I mean? Like, they depended on just bending in general for a long time until really Aang came along, and then between Sokka and really honestly what it is that 100-year war, not having airbenders, that's when people started to innovate, and that innovation just exploded. Anyway, I'm getting into a dark hole here.
I also think the hard magic system makes that more difficult to keep it fresh because, and again, I'm speaking as somebody who's only seen one episode of Doctor Who, but Doctor Who deals with a lot more abstract concepts and just time travel and general sci-fi themes. Whereas Avatar does such a good job of having a hard magic system as opposed to a soft magic system. Difference being hard magic is one that is very well explained. You know how it works, what characters have to do to utilize it, all that stuff. Whereas something like soft magic would be Gandalf from Lord of the Rings, where he can just kind of do things.
Yeah.
The long-term intergenerational storytelling soft magic lends itself to that much more, because if you have a hard magic system, you have a creative limit before you start breaking the system. And I feel like it would get to a certain point where you can only do so much with a person that can bend fire, air, earth, and water. But if like, I don't know.
Korra is proving your point. They didn't even get 2 generations out the door without going off the rails. Right. So anyway, no, I get what you're saying.
But I would love to see more Avatar done right. But again, Korra is just kind of proof that they had such a finite story that they knew that they wanted to tell, that when they were given that freedom to kind of go creatively somewhere new, they lost their minds.
They didn't know where to go. No, that's absolutely, I understand, I get it. Awesome. The only other, like, before we start the thing that we have planned to do that I want to talk about is I got an Oculus Quest. I finally, Steven came up a few weeks ago. I played 1 or 2 games on it, and I said, you know what, this thing is pretty fancy. So I ordered one up. I got it in. Got the 2.
Good.
You have a much better headset rig than I do. I just have the stretchy straps.
That's an attachment. I'll ask Andrew, because he got it for me for Christmas. I'll ask him to send me a link to what it is. Because I do like that a lot better. Takes a lot of the weight off your forehead, because the old strap I feel like was crushing my skull.
I definitely had a headache after this morning playing, doing some exercises. But I kind of got it. The thing I wasn't expecting, and you might have, even when you talked about it, you might have talked about getting a workout and whatnot. But like, I was like, okay, he's getting a workout in VR. Like, okay, that's sure, whatever. I do know that, like, playing super hot on the PSVR, that like, I'd occasionally work up sweat, but it's like, okay, whatever. Well, then you brought it over, and I played a couple of the games you were showing us, and obviously they were all very fun. But within one game, I was sweating. And you were just like, I do pistol whip, I do hollow bow.
So I start with 2 or 3 songs on Beat Saber. Then I go to Hollow Point.
It's a great warm up.
Hollow Point VR to
knock some bows.
Right. It's a nice, like, it's very mobile, but it's also like not as demanding as the other ones. It is demanding, but like it's I don't know. And then I end with some pistol whip, because pistol whip is, you go hard on pistol whip.
It's intense. Yeah. Well, anyways, yeah, played those, sweated, and I was like, ugh, I need this. And then actually, I was listening to some podcasts, and the people were talking about RingFit Adventure, and talking about how much of a great workout they get from that. And Steven has done both. So I was like, let me ask Steven, because I got to start doing something. I've got to start working out. I got to start doing something. I just don't have time. Used to, we went to hot yoga place, did all that. I don't have time for that anymore. So I was like, Steven, which of these, you've done both, which is better? And you were immediately like, the Quest 2, do the Quest.
No disrespect to RingFit, but RingFit, after using it the first few times, it was hard to force myself to use it again, especially when it's being used with a system that is mostly meant for portability. Right. And RingFit is not really portable. And you have the big peripheral ring, and like with the Oculus, it's like there are games that I wanted on that anyway. Mm-hmm. Like, and I don't know. RingFit's probably better at doing like intentional, like specific workout stuff, to where it's like, okay, now you're going to work out this part of your body, and then you're going to work out this one. And the Oculus is just like, start sweating now.
Well, I might disagree with you even there, because so I got mine, got it in. I got Pistol Whip. I got Super Hot. All these games, because obviously the Quest is no wires. It's all happening in your head. There's cameras on the head. So actually some games have hand tracking, which is just like mind blowing to me. There's one.
If you look at your hands in a lot of games, it knows where your hands are.
You can tell it if it shows you your hands in the controllers. It moves your fingers sometimes. But actually, like Vacation Simulator, I think it is. They just had an update that's hand tracking, and I really want to try it out just to try out hand tracking. But anyway, got a couple games, whatever. Knew that I wanted to do this for working out. So I was looking for things to work out to. Someone had told me that their husband plays on the Oculus. He plays a boxing game, and that she was just like, he is super fit. Like, that's all he does, and he's in great shape. You should look into that. So I just looked into boxing. I ended up downloading Supernatural, which it said get, which I was like, oh, it's a free one. Like, I'll just start here. It ended up being a subscription thing. I'm doing the trial right now. I don't know if I'm going to keep it or not, but it was an amazing workout. Like, I did a couple. What I like about it, Steven, is you click like a theme, and it takes you through like a whole workout. So you do a warm up, you do a 1 song, a 2 songs, sometimes 3 songs, and then they take you through a cool down. The tracking is amazing. And it was a lot of fun. I mean, I was genuinely sweating. Like, I felt good. Like, I felt like, oh man, I've worked out today. I'm hyped up. So anyway, really good experience so far. Definitely, I finally figured out how to get my glasses in there. And good. That made it so much better. It was very blurry at first, but now it's much better with glasses. So anyway, super, I really like it. So, I'm still trying to figure out like what else are the good games out there. Like, I do want to try this D&D thing that you talked about when you talked about it. There's the Darth Vader Immortal, I think it's called.
Vader Immortal's really good.
I've been debating if I want to get the bundle of all 3 chapters or whatever. And I think I'm going to. I saw that Moss was on there. That's a PlayStation game I never finished. Yep. So I don't know. Very interested.
So the way Demio works, when I say it's D&D in VR, I don't mean like it's like Tiny Tina is Borderlands VR or D&D Borderlands. I mean, it's literally you are at a table moving the figures like you would in D&D, but it's like a structured game. And so like you can move around the table, and when you move your figure and have them do things, they're like animated. So like I play the Bard class, and so when I have him do the song, he goes from being like a little statue to like playing his lute. It's very cool. It's something that like is a very relaxed. It's the exact opposite of why you and I both got a VR headset, because like you play it relaxed, like in a chair. I even played it laying down. It's hilarious.
Well, that's what I was actually. I'm thinking about trying to watch some. I'm thinking about starting maybe The Witcher tonight, and watching it in VR on the Netflix app. Although I will say I'm annoyed that I'm annoyed at the interface of the Netflix app on the Quest, because it puts you in this room. You got this nice big screen TV, and like that's fine. But then I click on things that are like immersive experiences, and it's like I'm watching on an iMac, or like it's like I'm at Disney World on the Flight of Passage or whatever. So Asher's crying. I've got to go take care of Asher for a second, but I'll be right back. So regale us with your tales.
I have no tails, unlike my friend Flynn here, who has a tail. It's a very fluffy tail. He is in a strange mood right now. He normally is not this camera ready. He's normally pretty camera shy. In fact, whenever I try to take pictures of him, he at this point knows the difference between me using my phone and me pointing my camera at him from my phone. He's too smart. You're too smart, buddy. Nope. He's gone. He got shy because I started to brag about him. Minnie's underneath me, and I need to make sure not step on her. Oh, Minnie, I almost rolled over your paw. Stop. Move your paw. Move your paw. I'm saving your life. Okay. Regale you with one of my tales. Well, I stayed home today. I didn't work today. Anna was not feeling well, so I stayed home with her. Let's see. I'm probably going to say this again when Jake is back, but I'm about to beat Triangle Strategy for the second time. And I thought I was going to play it twice and then, put it away, be like, this was a great game, but time to put it to rest. But they might have gotten me to start a third playthrough, because there are 3 endings, and I kind of want that third ending. So might do that. Okay, I'm looking through Steam. That's cool. Game that I have been playing a little bit, got an update. Gonna have to do that. Been playing a lot of Synthetic 2 past couple days. I streamed it on Saturday. Something I really like about that game. I'm a fan of top-down like twin stick shooters, but that game, something I thought was really cool about it was that you could create mods within the game client itself. So like I could go in there and create a custom class using the assets that are already in the game, and then just publish that. That's really cool. I'm not going to do it because I'm bad at that, but I can if I wanted to. So that one's cool. Where is it? I was looking for something. Oh yeah, I need to download Back 4 Blood. We're going to be playing Back 4 Blood this week at some point because it's getting a new DLC. So I'm going to pass to see. There it is. Install that. Got to see what the DLC runs. I don't think they have it listed yet. Unfortunately. No, they don't. The Back 4 Blood Ultimate Edition, which comes with the annual pass, is $50. Is it? Sure. Wow. Honestly, I might do that. With Game Pass, it's good for those games that you play through once that you're just like, I'm not sure if I'm going to buy this. You play it, like, wow, this was great. And then you move on and you're glad that you had it. But with with Back for Blood, a game that I think by design you revisit several times, there's always that fear that you invest a lot into the game. You level up your character, your decks, all that jazz, just for the game to leave Game Pass. And then you have to buy it, and it's probably going to run like $50 probably. But for right now, and also like you have to get the DLC. Like that's probably the oh, hey baby, sorry baby, I just kicked her. That's probably the distinguishing factor, I think, is if a game has DLC that you want, that's when I'm weird about using Game Pass for it, because I'm a big fan of the Steam ecosystem. And you have to kind of come to terms with, okay, do I bite the bullet and buy this on Steam, or do I play it on Game Pass and risk, falling in love with the game, wanting all the DLC and everything, and then virtually being stuck on this ecosystem. And I think that's what's happened with Back for Blood. So I am probably going to buy it. Because right now you can get the Ultimate Edition, which comes with the annual pass, so the first year of post-launch content, as well as whatever the Ultimate Edition in-game content is, probably some cosmetics. But that's $50. And the game by itself, with a Game Pass subscription, because you get a discount, the Game Pass edition is $48. So if you get the standard edition, it's $48. Ultimate Edition, $2 more, $50. You get annual pass and other content. So I think I'm actually going to do that. That's a pretty good deal, I think, depending on what the DLC is, but we'll see. Okay. I'm actually going through with that purchase right now. I'm really bad at when someone tells me like, hey, talk to a person that can't talk back. For example, I work at a church. My job is the media coordinator at my church. So I'm in charge of all of our audiovisual stuff, a little bit of IT. Pretty much if it's technology, it falls under my umbrella. So I am not the main sound guy at my church. I've got another guy for that. And so whenever he tells me like, hey, I need you to check this mic, just talk into the mic, check the mic in front of all these people, I hate that. That is what hell looks like for me. Because I'm talking to literally no one. And my strength and
do I do that to you?
No. This is I was saying that this is a weakness of mine, that it gets exposed when I'm told to talk when there's no one to give me feedback, because a talent of mine that I have in conversation is feeding off of what a person gives me back. But when you tell me that I need to hold a conversation by myself without anything happening to comment on, really, like what just happened, or when I have to mic check at church, you start to realize how boring I am as a human being.
So one of the many talents I have is that I am horrible at talking to other people, but I'm really great at talking to no one. Like I can hold a conversation with myself when I'm alone, like nobody's business. But when I get around people, it's like I have no idea what to talk about. I have no idea what to say. No idea. So anyway, there you go.
So one of the things that I told the no one that is listening, Back for Blood, we're going to be playing that this week, right?
Yeah. Hope so.
I just noticed, because I was going to install it, and maybe this can be something we talk about for a second, but Game Pass, there's always that tricky moment with a game that I know I'm going to play a lot that has DLC, where I have to make that decision. Like I'm at a crossroad where it's like, do I purchase this on the ecosystem that I like Steam, Or do I stick it out on Game Pass, get my progress, and then when the game has me by the hook, do I pay for the DLC there, and then I'm just stuck on Game Pass? Well, that has happened with Back 4 Blood, to where I have got enough progress to where I'm beyond the point of moving over to Steam. So I checked the price on the Ultimate Edition. Jake, the standard edition of Back 4 Blood with the Game Pass discount is $48.
Yeah, you Ultimate get a discount edition, on the game if you just for having it on, buying it on Game Pass. Interesting.
All games on like the Xbox
that are available on.
I don't even think that it has to be on Game Pass. I think you have a discount on games for having Game Pass. It's very nice.
Interesting. That's really nice.
But so standard Back 4 Blood, $48 with the Game Pass discount. Right. Back 4 Blood Ultimate Edition, it comes with the annual pass and extra Ultimate Edition content. Guess how much it is?
Let me ask a follow-up question. Is that annual pass just for this year's worth of content?
I believe so. That's how.
Okay.
Yeah.
75.
$50.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah, it's $2 more than the standard.
I was going based on how you were talking. I was like, I was expecting you to be like, it's $175. No, I was gonna be like, holy crap!
It's standard $100, but it is on sale for 50% off right now. So I went ahead and snagged it. The nice thing about the DLC for Back 4 Blood, and this is I fell on the sword for this week at least, but the nice thing about Back 4 Blood they confirmed is that you can play content like DLC content if the host has the DLC.
So I don't have to get the DLC.
You probably not. I don't know what that means for characters. Yeah, and for like decks and stuff like that. I think that's mainly for like levels.
Right.
So I would say when the new content comes out, which it drops tomorrow, actually.
Yep.
When the new content drops tomorrow, let's maybe give it a try, see what you are locked out of and what you aren't locked out of. Because I don't know how long that sale is going to last, but that's a pretty dang good deal to actually own the game.
Yeah, no kidding. So I might, because that's what I keep forget. What I thought you were going with this conversation is that Game Pass eventually will cycle things off.
That was part of the conversation as well.
You don't get to keep it. So anyway,
that was part of the debate as well. Because even a game that I put a lot of time in that isn't it's like a free update game, like let's say No Man's Sky, you don't pay for updates on that, but eventually I might have to buy No Man's Sky because I've put all that time in it, or we just part ways.
I understand that. I liked it. I had a great time with what we played.
Of No Man's Sky or Back 4 Blood?
Both.
Yeah.
So, agreed. Anyway, okay, Steven, we've gone on long enough. We've preambled enough. It's time to jump into the topic of the show, if you will. Again, we're looking at reddit.com/unpopular opinion, and we're going to read some unpopular opinions and we're going to talk about it, and we're going to have some debate and conversation about it. So
those 2 years passed. One, confidence is a result, not a choice, and you aren't allowed to be sad.
I've been trying to find a good one for the last little bit, so I'm sorry if I seemed like I was not interested in what you were saying. I knew I was transitioning, and I was like, I need to have one to jump into. And here's one that that has caught my attention. Detective Pikachu and Get Out are basically the same film with different amounts of pastels. And I'm intrigued by this because Get Out. Okay, now I know what I'm talking about. Let's see. Dude traverses. Okay, I don't know if I like this one.
No.
I'm a back out of that one.
It screams of pay attention and upvote my post.
There you go. Exactly. Yes. Let's see. I'm just scrolling through some. Oh gosh. All right. First off, my Reddit is like doing this weird, like jiggly, jumpy thing.
I was wondering if that was me or you.
It's definitely my computer of some sort. So I'm going to stop on this one. This one is Snickers is an overhyped candy bar. Steven, where do you land on Snickers?
I like Snickers.
I like Snickers. I'm not like, if you lay out an array of candy for me and a Snickers is there, it's there's maybe 5 other candies that I would grab before that one. You know what I mean?
It's pretty high up on the what you would think of in like a candy bar. It's pretty high up on the list for me.
Do you do you think it's too popular though? Is it overhyped?
No, not really.
Okay.
I don't hear anybody like
that guy's weird. It's a weird guy. Steven, how do you feel about 4K? This is somebody's unpopular opinion. It says 4K is too sharp.
It depends.
I've just always been I'm starting to shift this mindset, but I've always thought that 4K, I don't know. For the longest time I've been the grouchy old man who's like, we don't need no 4K this, no 4K that. But now I'm very much turning around, turning into that ship of like, okay, 4K is great though. So I don't know. I was just curious. You work with a lot more larger screens and that sort of thing. I didn't know if you had a better opinion on that. Oh, okay. I strongly disagree with this one. Cinnamon rolls aren't that good. All right. Okay. This person can fall in a hole and eat dry sand for the rest of their life if they like. If that's what they're good. He said, or they say, if I had to choose a cinnamon roll versus no dessert, I'd go with no dessert. First off, here's my problem. Breakfast. Number one. Amen, brother. Amen. It is a meal. It is the entree. Okay. Mm-hmm. It is not dessert. All right. So let's just back off that decision right there. They are.
Well, Joe, what's your opinion, Joe? Would you rather eat wet sand or dry sand?
I think I would want to eat wet sand personally. Just saying. Just throwing that.
Joe, I await your response.
We'll wait your response. He says they are, I don't know this word, cloyingly?
Okay.
Cream cheese frosting isn't even that good.
No, Joe, eat sand.
And the
pick your flavor of sand.
And the cinnamon is usually too overpowering. There are other baked items that are so much better. Chocolate chip cookies, brownies.
What cinnamon rolls is this guy eating where he says the cinnamon is overpowering? I rarely even taste the cinnamon over the frosting, and that's not a complaint. Cinnamon's good, but like the frosting is the thing that, like, I could understand someone being like, no, the cinnamon rolls with frosting, that's too much. I can understand that you're wrong, but I can understand why you think that. You know?
So you think his problem with cinnamon is more.
I think his problem is that he's stupid.
I agree. So hilariously, he edited this post and said, "This seems to have riled up some people. Not my intention." Well, you sure didn't know what kind of hive you were poking. He said, "I just genuinely don't think I like the taste of cinnamon rolls, and that's okay. And it is okay, but you're wrong. You're wrong." So fundamentally, his mistake is he thinks a cinnamon roll is dessert, and I completely agree with that argument. If I had a table of desserts and a cinnamon roll was there, but I've already eaten my meal, I'd probably still go for the cinnamon roll, but I would go for a lot of the other things there. So I kind of understand, but a cinnamon roll is a great breakfast.
For me, the reason it works as a breakfast is because in terms of like baked sweet breakfasts, cinnamon roll is one of the ones that you'll most often get. And for me, if I'm presented a assortment of sweets, and cinnamon roll is there, I'm probably not going to go for the cinnamon roll because I enjoy cinnamon rolls, but I enjoy other sweets more. So I think the reason I like them and prefer them as a breakfast is because if I want a sweet breakfast, something more sweet rather than savory, then they're a good go-to.
Oh, here's a relevant hot take.
Let's do it.
Somebody says Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga is disappointing. He said, I completely did not enjoy this game. I tried to love it so much. By the way, I guess we should come in here and say, obviously everyone is entitled to their own opinions about anything. What I like about these kind of things is sometimes it brings up things like cinnamon rolls, and it's like, oh my gosh, you don't like cinnamon rolls? Like, that's crazy. I love cinnamon rolls. Obviously, everyone is entitled to their own opinion. As we're getting into something that is a lot more subjective, I just wanted to make sure that was clear. Anyway, completely did not enjoy this game. Tried to love it so much. Lego games are my childhood, and I finished quite a lot of them. The Clone Wars, the Complete Saga, Harry Potter 1 through 4, 5 through 7, and more. This game is basically follow Jar Jar Binks, go back to your ship, fly to that
So
planet,
this person's only played episode 1. Got it.
I was just about to say, follow Padme. It's also too easy, even for a Lego game. Now that's funny. That's funny. Not saying that it isn't easy, but it's just like, I would think you would kind of get that, but I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, I don't know if I want to even read the rest of this. Gets a little too in the weeds, but anyway.
They just need to play through other episodes, because episode 1 was kind of weird. It had a few good moments, like Duel of the Fates was awesome, and the space battle with Anakin in 1 was really good, but it dragged at parts. But the humor was great. Jar Jar is literally getting annihilated whenever he is on screen, which was wonderful. It was great. It
was funny.
Yeah.
I was about to circle back to cinnamon rolls because I wasn't sure, Joe, if you agreed about the cinnamon rolls or not. But he said this person also probably thinks red bell peppers are too spicy, which is hilarious.
And Joe, don't think that I haven't forgotten that you haven't picked dry sand or wet sand yet. That's
he said neither. He said neither.
He's not allowed to say neither. No, you have to pick a sand.
You have to pick a sand. So this one's one I'd love to stop and chat on. Shrek 2 is the worst Shrek movie.
False. It's the best Shrek movie.
I was just gonna say, Shrek 2 is the example I always point to of a great sequel, of like when the sequel was maybe better than the original. But I also watched Shrek 2 at least 1 million times. It was like it was one of the I feel weird saying it was one of the few DVDs that we had, because that's not right. But I think it was one of the few DVDs that we always had with us. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
If we were traveling, it was the one that somehow made it in the bag of things to bring. We used to have those portable DVD players. Steven, did you ever have one of those?
Of course.
Okay, great. I'm glad we were in the same generation.
Shrek 2. Two reasons it's the best Shrek movie. 1, Far Far Away Idol, DVD extras. Look it up. 2,
yes.
The scene when Gingerbread Man and the Big Bad Wolf and all of them are watching TV, and it goes to Knights, which is their version of Cops, and they go to pepper spray, and it's the grinder, and they just grind pepper. One of the funniest scenes in animated film history.
One of the greats.
Oh, it's so good.
So we've apparently reached the bottom of this. I didn't realize this would have a bottom.
You're sorting by hot right now.
How do I okay.
There you go.
Here we go. I liked Shrek 2. Shrek 3, I vaguely remember. Shrek 4,
to be fair, I don't remember any of the other Shrek movies except for Shrek 1. I've seen 3 and maybe 4, but I felt they were so forgettable that I barely even count them.
See, I can remember 1, I can remember 2. I don't remember 3 at
all. One with Arthur.
Yeah, and but what I don't remember what happened.
Shrek came to terms with being a father. Fiona and the other princesses united. Rapunzel was a bad guy. Sleeping Beauty, they all fought. The princesses all fought with their own fighting style. Cinderella used her glass slipper as a boomerang. Sleeping Beauty fell over and fell asleep in front of people and tripped them.
I love it. I have no recollection.
They did Immigrant Song by Led Zeppelin when the princesses were rising up, and Snow White was singing along with Immigrant Song, got all the birds together and attacked people with the flock of birds. They advertised with that scene a lot. That's the only reason I remember that scene. And I just thought it was funny that Sleeping Beauty's signature move was literally falling asleep in front of charging people, and they would just trip over.
That's great. That's classic.
It's no pepper spray though. It's no grinding pepper.
That the Sleeping Beauty falling over, that was low hanging fruit. Good, delicious low hanging fruit, but the easy pick for sure.
They worked hard for that Knights reference.
They did. That's wild. I don't remember that at all. I remember 4, and then I vaguely remember Puss in Boots, and I'm real excited about the new Puss in Boots movie coming out. But anyway, moving on. I don't like that one. I thought I liked that one, but I've decided I don't. The most? No. No. The reason? Okay. No, that's fine. Okay, this person says skipping is the superior form of pedestrian transportation. Steven, what's your opinion on skipping?
Skipping is dangerous if you're if it's pedestrian transportation in a crowded place of pedestrians. You're just asking to knock someone over or be knocked over.
This is
now,
true.
If you're somewhere that's not crowded, not a lot of people are walking around you, sure, I guess. But that person's probably also an extrovert and doesn't constantly worry about eyes being on them and all that jazz. So more power to you. Go off, sis, but you're wrong.
Go off, sis. You're right, because skipping is sporadic. Okay. Skipping, you might know where you're going to land next, but you really don't. So you got to be careful. So, but it's funny when you said it so specifically of as pedestrian transportation, it made me think, and I was afraid for a minute that maybe I had misunderstood the question, that this is a person with somebody on their back and they're skipping to transport the person. And no. Not the case. This person said cops should pull people over from the front. And I'm not sure. Oh, okay. I actually, this kind of makes sense. For a second, I thought on first read, I thought they meant cops.
Yes, I read how you did. How a cop sees in oncoming traffic and they hop the curb. You stop.
No. I was thinking it was here I am following somebody who's speeding. Cop pulls me over though. It's they should go after the person in front. But I kind of can get behind, which is a pun because I actually want them to get in front. That does make sense. I hate as the cop approaches me from behind, and it's what are they doing? How many of them are there? Are they coming on my left side or are they coming on my right side? And I'm paranoid because I don't want to move when they're behind me because they're watching me, right? I don't want to look this way and look like I'm grabbing something or doing something I'm not supposed to be doing. So I always just sit straight forward, and it's just I will just turn to whatever side they come to.
The issue to that comes in the form of when there is a dangerous person that's being pulled over by a cop. If they are in front of you when you pull over, and if they need to go back to their car, their back is completely exposed to somebody who could very easily, with little effort, pull a gun and shoot them in the back. Because if they are behind you and they walk back to their car, there's a lot more that has to go into getting that shot.
Yeah, that's true. So that's true.
It depends on the situation. But if I'm in the school of thinking that it's not as cut and dry as people say with cops, doing everything wrong, because the fact is cops have seen how bad it can be. And in a lot of those situations, there are bad cops. Yes, there are. But in a lot of those situations, cops are a moment's hesitation in their minds away from possibly dying. And they're human beings just like we are. And so whatever can minimize risk for all parties involved should be the solution. But,
it's just scary either way.
It is.
You know what I mean? It's scary.
Both parties are scared.
All parties are scared. It's just not a fun thing to have happen. So I came across somebody who their lead line was My Hero Academia is overrated. Last part of it. The last part too is underrated. And so much more. And I clicked into it. I started to look and I said, you know what? This is a whole can of worms.
Keep scrolling.
Just don't need to open. But I did want to point it out.
Just think about it though, how much people talked about Last of Us 1 after it came out, and think about how little people are talking about Last of Us 2 after it came out. And that should speak for how overrated Last of Us 2 actually is. It has no staying power whatsoever.
I was more insulted by the My Hero Academia thing personally.
I was more insulted by somebody saying that Last of Us 2 is a good anything, because it's the only thing that's good about that game is the work that went into the animations and everything, and that's about it.
Steven, where are you at with My Hero Academia? Are you caught up?
I don't remember. I think I'm a season behind.
Okay. What's the last thing you remember?
I don't know.
Okay. Good deal. Good deal.
I think Endeavor became the number one hero. I think that's the last thing I remember.
Whew. Wow. Yeah, you're a ways behind. Not a ways behind. You're probably a season behind, like you said. That's good. This person says licorice is the best flavor of candy.
Ugh.
Wait a minute.
Who hurt you?
Wait a minute. Hold the phone. That's his headline, or their headline. But then it says, jelly beans are by far the best candy in the world. Better than Lindor's chocolate milk balls, which I don't agree with a lot of what's being said. Then he says,
so his favorite candy is jelly beans, but his favorite flavor is black licorice.
There you go.
Yeah.
So the revelation, what I was struggling with was, is licorice jelly beans? Because jelly beans I could get behind. Like, I don't know about best flavor, but like, yes, jelly beans are really good. But see, this is my whole thing. Sometimes you want a fruity dessert. You know what I mean? Jelly beans are a great option for that. Most of the time, me personally, I prefer a chocolate kind of sweet dessert. And so Lindor's milk chocolate would be a great pick.
Sometimes you want to lick sewage, so you go for black licorice.
Is it that bad? I don't know that I've ever had licorice.
It's been a while since I've had it, but it was not good.
I don't know that I've ever had it, but I remember so many like
I'm sorry. Don't expect me to explain this. My mind went somewhere else when I saw all new cars should have breathalyzers. For some reason, I thought that, like, I saw cars and breathalyzers, and I thought it was an argument for the cars in the film Cars to need to use breathalyzers.
That brings up all kind of biological questions about cars. Let's see. Wait a minute. Hold on. Is this MeUndies? Ooh, yes, how did I miss this MeUndies Batman pattern? I need to go back and look at that. Sorry, I love how every like fifth of these is an unpopular opinion that's somehow tied to an ad.
Here's my unpopular opinion. Reddit's terrible, and I hate it.
Because the only time I use Reddit is if I Google search something and a Reddit thread has the answer somehow.
Absolutely, I'm the same way. But Reddit is the crutch of the internet, in that people who don't have anything to occupy their time that is interesting enough to them, they just go to Reddit and fill the spaces within their personality with things they find on Reddit, and it's very toxic. And that's the majority of Reddit, and I wish it would go away.
But it's bringing us entertainment today, and that's all right. This person said that Mario Kart Double Dash is undoubtedly the best Mario Kart of them all. And I
don't remember which one was Double Dash.
It was the GameCube. It was the first one to introduce having two passengers.
I think it was the only one that did that.
I think you're right. But it also introduced the mechanic of having two riders, or rather having a driver and a rider.
Yeah.
But it also in turn introduced the idea of having two items that you could use at any time.
I thought there was the only one to do that as well. I don't remember that in the other ones.
That has been added into
the new
Mario
one?
Kart 8. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Hey, Courtney.
Let's see. Joe said, about to say, too many people use Reddit for their personality.
Thank you, Joe.
There you go. Steven, you created a popular opinion. So there you go. But so...
man. Darn.
Look at you. Darn. Not the theme.
My own opinions are too mainstream. I have to hate them now.
Oh, okay. Here we go. ESDF is a way better set of movement keys than WASD and should be the norm. So I'm not a PC gamer, so I got to think about this for a second. So
no, he's wrong. He's wrong.
I mean, all he's doing is he's moved
everything over one to the right, and he's wrong. For one, shooters, that would mean that your reload button is one step away from, because reload has to be R. It just has to be. That's the rule. Right. It would be one step away from your forward button, and that would mean that you could not effectively hit it. I don't know. It would be weird. It would just be weird. Like there's such a muscle memory that goes behind WASD.
Well, I'll just tell you. I kind of like it.
You also refuse to learn WASD, so
I do. But you know what I like about it is the F key is like when you're typing, right? Your index fingers go to F and J, and obviously there's the little notches there. I kind of like that. Like that's just kind of the natural place for that to go. It just feels right. So I don't know. This guy might be onto something. I'm not gonna learn keyboard. But
this person must not play MMOs. Or shooters that require them.
Here we go. He even explains it. He says up E.
I know.
Left S, down D, right F, reload R. He says use and interact would be G. So that's 1 over. I like that. Nope. Sprint would be Shift L. Okay, I don't like that. He's just moved
everything over 1. There's no reason for it. This man is looking to cause chaos. It's lazy. It's a lazy opinion.
It's a lazy opinion. Let's see. Borrowed powers are annoying. I guess he's saying like the trope where like you get someone else's power. It's kind of interesting.
I like spam calls.
Man, Joe said just make reload E and you don't have to relearn anything.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, what's this dude's rationale? There's no reason for it.
Oh man, so I like spam calls. I assume this person must be like making fun of people. So my new thing when I get this is horrible. I don't know if I should even say this, but so my thing now when I get those spam calls and it's like, hi, I'm Seth, generic voice, and I'm here to talk to you about this great deal on car insurance. Would you like to hear about it? And I'll just be like, oh, Seth, thanks. But my mom just died. So I'm kind of going through a hard time. It's just really nice to hear it. And they're usually about that time they hang up.
Yeah.
And so it's probably horrible. But that's what I do.
You know what you need to do is you need to like have an audio recording of one of those spam calls on hand so that when you get that call, you just play that call back on the call. So they have to listen to themselves. So you can hit hit them with the Uno reverse card. I am my troll potential is untapped. It really is. Like it is a miracle. My parents must have raised me right or something, because if I had enough drive to get back against just people in the world, which I have more than enough reason, then I would have become a supervillain by now. Let's be honest.
I'm thinking about how in RuneScape you were running an Assassin's League, or
I wasn't
one of the lead assassins. You were one of the lead assassins.
I was a captain. I was second in command.
Ooh.
There's a difference.
Yeah. You have.
I killed a lot of people.
Courtney's coming in here saying pinky hits shift, thumb hits spacebar, fingers hit the directionality.
Absolutely.
There you go. I don't know. I think he's onto something. So this is one. Somebody said, "I love layovers," and I'm now wondering if this is not if this is an ad. So let me ask that. I don't hate layovers.
I hate them. I hate layovers so much.
You get to stop. You get a mid break in your trip. You get to go.
You get to sit.
You get a refresh on coffee.
You
get
to
a
sit and
refresh
wallow
on
in the
food.
anxiety that something's going to go wrong with your travels, especially if you're going to a foreign country and you're waiting to land and get a COVID test to see if they have to kick you out of the country or not. You just get to sit with that. You get to sit with that knowing that there is something awaiting you on the other side of a layover and do nothing. You get to waste time.
Joe gets it.
I like to travel. I hate airports because of layovers.
I love finding like a restaurant that I've never heard of in the airport. I like the rush of like, how do I get coffee before my next flight? Like it's a great experience. I really enjoy it. Ro is coming in here talking about borrowed power. She's saying borrowed power feels cheap, at least from an MMO standpoint. It doesn't feel like earned by the player. And in my experience, the power you gained is temporary. See, I've always thought it was cool to like in Heroes. I think Peter, who was one of the main characters, his ability was like he could just absorb everyone's power. And then
I don't know if we're talking about the same thing.
No, we are. Who's Silas? Was that?
I know who you're talking about, but I don't know if that's what they meant by the whole concept of borrowed power. I know what you're talking about, but I don't know if that's what the Reddit post was talking about.
Oh, maybe not. I don't know. We scrolled past it, so who knows? Who cares?
But I think with me, it depends on the vibe of an airport. Like if the general vibe of a trip is just a group of friends that's just there to hang out, then layovers are fine because there's more people there to like bear the load. But when a layover is like when it's just me and Anna, like I'm on edge because I feel like I'm responsible for our safety and responsible for our entertainment as well. And like I said earlier, if I'm left to my own devices to entertain somebody, they'll realize how boring I am. And so that's stressful for me. And also the trips we've taken recently, especially we've traveled during COVID, like at least 3 times. And that's stressful just because of all the variables that you can get hit with during layovers in COVID.
I have continuously been impressed that you guys have traveled as much as you have.
Neither of us have gotten it. It's crazy.
Oh, I know. Well, that's impressive in and of itself. But I just mean like all of the complications you're talking about are why I will not be traveling. Also, we have a 10-month-old, right? Irregardless of the 10-year-old, our 10-month-old, I would not want to travel with any of those restrictions or complications. And so I have been so impressed that y'all have not only done it like just in general, but you guys have just done it. Y'all just dealt with it.
We've left the country. Well, I guess technically. Well, Hawaii's still in the country, so once.
It's about as close to not in the country as you can get without being in the country. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This person says, I find toasted bread with mayo tastier than the rest of the sub. And so what I'm assuming is like, oh yeah, so like they're going to Subway, they're making their sandwich, and they just really all they want is toasted bread with mayonnaise. To which I ask, what do you think about toasted bread with mayonnaise, Steven?
So mayonnaise on anything, unless if it's like cooked in or like mixed into a cooked dish.
Yeah.
I pretty much, if mayonnaise is the star of the show in any way, I hate it. Like a guy I work with, he denies it to this day, but I know that it happened because it haunted me and I still think about it to this day. He used to intern at the church that I work at. And he one time went to the fridge behind the youth area where he normally would get snacks, and they were limited on stuff, so he ended up eating waffles with mayonnaise. That was it, just waffles and mayonnaise, like he was eating like fries covered in mayonnaise, but it was waffles covered in mayonnaise. That scarred me, and to this day, like just mayonnaise without anything else to like conceal it. Like I'll do mayonnaise on like a chicken sandwich, like a little bit of mayonnaise. I'll do mayonnaise on a burger, like just a little bit though. I'll use like when you cook a grilled cheese sandwich, mayonnaise instead of butter. That's how you do it. Mayonnaise is a better solution to covering like the bread. Did you not know that?
I've never heard of this. So wait a minute. Hang on.
Instead of
just uncovered the whole thing. Instead of putting butter on your bread to make a
buttering the outside
sandwich
of the bread, you put mayonnaise on it because it's just like oil and egg. It browns the crust better.
I don't think there's a way I could convince Lee Allison to let us try that.
Try it sometime.
But
make a grilled cheese for her and don't tell her.
That would be the thing. Lee Allison hates mayonnaise. She is like, she will do.
See, I hate mayonnaise as well, but you don't really taste the mayonnaise. It just helps brown the bread. That's all it does. That is because it cooks out.
Wow. Huh. Well, see, so to get back to the post, this is actually an interesting concept because I like having like making an egg and putting it on my toast, right?
Mm-hmm.
That sounds great. And to what you just said, mayonnaise is just oil and egg. So like, I don't know. This guy might be onto something. I'm just not all about it. But I'm even more interested in it because of what you're talking about, where you're saying you use it to cook that.
Tomorrow for lunch, make yourself a grilled cheese sandwich. And don't just
everyone's coming in here to support you too.
Thank you. Don't cover it in mayo. Like, put as much mayo, as much butter, if not a little bit less butter than you would normally put. Like the amount of butter you would put on a grilled cheese, put that amount or less in mayo, and cook it that way, and see what happens.
I'm really curious what my other neighbor Jeremiah's favorite sandwich is, but I could get behind having mayonnaise in my grilled cheese. In fact, very often I will make a grilled ham and cheese sandwich that I'll put mayonnaise and mustard on the inside.
Any sandwich that you grill from now moving forward, use mayonnaise instead of butter. I'm telling you.
I'm gonna have to try it because this is crazy. I'm very curious. I'm very curious. He makes a grilled sandwich with mayo on the bread, a fried egg, and cheese in the center. Ooh, delicious. Sounds great. While I look for our next unpopular opinion, one of the things that kind of first made me think of this idea, a podcast series I listen to a lot of. They're having a debate right now, an ongoing debate right now about microwaving your Eggo waffle. Do you microwave your Eggo waffle, Steven, or do you toast it?
If it is bread in any form, I do not microwave it. That is a mistake. You toast it.
See, I don't know. Eggo waffles, I have since I was a kid. I've put about 3 or 4 in the microwaved them for about 30 seconds to a minute, dump some syrup on that stuff, and go to town. And
see, I can understand that, especially since Eggo waffles, you know, I'm not a parent yet, so I don't need like the convenience of like throwing something together super quick. But I'm a bit of a snob when it comes to like bread products. There are some like Hot Pockets. I would hardly call that a bread product because you know it kind of defies genre. But you microwave those. I'll occasionally cook one in the oven, and it's actually better, but it takes literally like 45 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. But who has time?
Yeah, but like just bread, like something that I could throw into a toaster or into the toaster oven for like 4 minutes. No, like that's not enough of a saving of time for me because I have a toaster oven, and so like I don't need to preheat the big oven to, you know, just warm up a waffle or whatever.
See, I've never been a big fan of the toaster oven and how that all works out. Never liked it.
Oh, it's wonderful. It heats up so fast.
Are you talking like an actual toaster?
Toaster oven.
A toaster when you think of like the Brave little toaster and it's the little
No, I'm not talking about the Brave little toaster. I'm talking about a small oven.
You're talking about a small oven, yeah.
Yes.
See, we had one for the longest time and I just never liked it.
I use it nearly every time I cook. I use that thing because it's just an oven that preheats in like a quarter of the time.
Interesting.
And that's basically all it is. Like when I cook one of those Totino's pizzas, I get that thing done in 15 minutes.
I get that thing done in 15 minutes. I love it. Well, okay. All right. There you go. Good to know.
Jake's learning all the cooking tips here.
This is why I wanted this. I thought this would be fun. I figured we'd find out some things about ourselves. So this is a great opinion. I'm all about this opinion, but I'm also learning some things here. This opinion is movies should bring back intermissions. And they start off by saying, IDK, how many people know this? I did not know this. But until like 1940, going to the movies were kind of like going to see a play. They were like 3 hours and would have 15-minute intermissions. And I don't even need to read the rest of the posts. I agree with this 100%.
So it depends on the type of implementation of an intermission, because like when you think of a live production, an intermission's like 15 to 30 minutes.
Yes.
But if the only way this would be feasible is if it was like a 5-minute intermission, to where like, and I could see this being a smart thing to do. It'd be difficult to coordinate, but if theaters could plug in intermissions and then like bring concessions to you to buy if you wanted, give the people who don't want concessions time to go to the bathroom, that's just a great opportunity, because people don't want to go to the concession stand because they don't want to leave their seat and they don't think they have the time. But if you bring the concessions to the person, that's convenience right there.
You know that you bring up a great point, because I was just thinking about going to the bathroom. All right. Whenever I go see a movie, normally I just don't get a drink. I don't get popcorn or any of that, because if I drink something during the movie, I'm gonna have to pee. Like and it always happens. God, it always happens at like just the wrong time. And so I've been very committed to not do that. Going to see Batman, right? Me and Brody went to see it. Me and Brody, we got everything we could out of that movie going experience, because as two dads, I don't think either of us had been to the movie theater in quite some time. So I got a large drink. I got a large popcorn. I had a great time. All right. I wanted all the benefits. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, sure as shit. It's a 3-hour long movie. I had to pee. And so I ran, peed, and came back. I don't know what I missed. I think I think I missed the guy who got kidnapped and had the rats in his mask. Like, I vaguely remember that.
They don't even really show that.
Maybe that's why I don't remember it. Anyway, I digress. I would totally do. I think a 10-minute break would be a nice medium, and I agree with you. It would really depend on how the theater did it. One of my favorite movie going experiences was when I was in high school, and our local theater was doing a movie marathon of all the Toy Story movies. And so I spent a whole day just about literally watching all the Toy Story movies in theater, and in between each movie, they had intermissions where the characters from the movie on screen came out and like played intermission games with you. So like it was very fun if you stayed inside, but also if you had to go pee or you wanted to get some food, whatever, you weren't missing anything important. Now, that would be really hard to do with the Batman, but I digress. Some
Robert
sort of
Pattinson
break.
just walks out on the screen.
Some sort of intermission would be just
Who wants
great.
to play a game?
I was thinking the Riddler. The Riddler comes out and is like, riddle me this, whatever. Anyway, I digress. Let's see. Joe was saying he spent $100 on $2 worth of soda and popcorn. Oh, I spent. Yes, I did, Joe. But it was a great time. All right. Again, having not gone to a movie in like a year, it was like, I'm going all out. I'm going to go all out. And the theater that Brody and I went to had great like lounge seats too. We were living it up. We were having a great time. But yeah, intermissions should definitely come back. I'm all about that. Let's see. A lot of these are movie opinions, which I was not expecting. I was kind of expecting more just random thought opinions, but a lot of these are just movie opinions and game opinions, and it's like, okay, all right, well, let's see. Oh, okay. Avocados overhyped. Steven, overhyped or not on avocados?
Avocados are fine. You get guacamole from avocados. Avocados on a sandwich or a burger enhance the experience, but they are not an essential food group. Let's stop pretending that they are.
I think I agree with you. I feel like it has to fall in some essential food group, but to your point, like we have raised up the avocado to like the level of cheese, you know, and like while an avocado is obviously better for you,
keto people.
Yeah. I feel like it's the millennial generation though that did it, and I don't know.
You go to a coffee shop
generation,
and pay $15 for avocado toast.
Steven, you follow into millennial, right?
Of course.
Okay, just making sure. I did. I know I did, and I was like, it's gonna be really confusing if you didn't. But Lee Allison is a zillennial. She's right there in the middle. So this is kind of a mix between movie and game opinion, but I like it. It's the Joker is an incredibly worn out villain, and TV/movies need to take a break from him for a while.
It's absolutely true.
I'm not going to read the rest of the post, but I think I agree with this.
I agree with it 100%.
The Joker is by far one of my favorite villains and is arguably one of the best villains out there, but there are probably just as many Jokers as there are Batman at this point. And I'm thinking of like,
there might be more.
We've got Bruce Banner. Actually, we've got Christian Bale. We've got Robert Pattinson. You know, I'm just thinking of like, okay, all of those have a Joker, right? And obviously all the other Batmen have had a Joker. Yeah, I don't know that it's quite 1-to-1, but it's really close.
It's one more Batman to Joker.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it would be 2, except we had the Joaquin Phoenix, the Joker.
Yep. Which is the reason that I think they should take a break from Joker, because look, I wouldn't dare forget George Clooney and Bat Nipples, Joe. What do you take me for? But I know this is another unpopular opinion from me. I haven't seen it. I have not seen the Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie, but I hate that it exists. I'm sure it is a very well performed film. I'm sure its cinematography is excellent, but it glorifies mental illness and gives people who are probably going to end up being an active shooter an excuse for doing what they do. Sorry, it's not worth it.
The former things are the only 2 things I would praise it for, other than maybe also Joaquin Phoenix's performance.
Of course.
He's really good. Content of the movie is just really scary, really, and not in a horror sense, but just in like this is real world, real life people, real problems.
There are people that will be inspired to commit crime from this film. That is my impression of it, and it's just not worth it. It is not worth it to give the edgelords an anthem, honestly, and that's what the Joker is, which is why I think we need to stop doing Joker for a little while.
Well, and that's exactly, because even some of the most recent Joker implementations, that doesn't sound right, but the most recent Jokers, I'm thinking specifically of Gotham's Joker, right? Their whole concept with that Joker was there were several people who could have become the Joker, but like they inspired the ones that came after them. And I don't know, that's just kind of how I feel like the Joker is perceived in general. And so that's just scary.
This new version of the Joker actually is like an icon for people who want to commit crime, and
the Joaquin Phoenix Joker.
The Joaquin, he is
not the Robert Pattinson.
Correct. Joker. The Joaquin Phoenix Joker is like a symbol for a lot of bad people.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm just going to use this one as a chance. It says, "Don't force your beliefs on others," and I'm just going to reiterate that we're just laughing at some opinions here, and having conversations. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and that's great. Let's see. I'm scrolling around. I'm looking.
Don't ask for advice if you're not going to consider it. Thank you. That is not an unpopular opinion. That is just facts.
You know, Lee Allison and I were having a conversation about this earlier of like, sometimes you ask people questions really just wanting them to, like, you'll ask somebody for an opinion or advice, and you're just looking for them to validate how you feel or have an opinion of. And
I cannot
they'll contradict you, and you'll just be like, and like whether you're mean to the person or not or whatever, but it's just like, this isn't what I wanted. I'm gonna go somewhere else. Like, I'm gonna find somebody that will agree with me.
I've been guilty of that kind, not that whole thing of like just wanting people to look at me and see like a person who's got issues, but like being that person that's bad at taking advice because I feel trapped in my situation. I've been guilty of that in the past. But and I try to not be that, because that is aggravating, and I understand why people don't want to give you advice if you're like that. But the people who just want you to hear that they have problems and they want you to feel bad for them, I'm so over that. And there are people in my life in the past like 3 years that I just can't be around them anymore because of them being like that. Especially the kind of person I am is that I'm a practical person, to where when a person presents their problems to me, I try to fix it. I'm a fixer. Like that's how I tend to be. And so when I'm trying to help and they're just like, they just don't do anything about it, and then I hear them complain about the same thing 3 days later, I don't have time for you. I do not have time for that. If you're going to waste my time, then go waste someone else's time, because I'm at the point where I do not care about you anymore.
Something I had to learn with Lee Allison is that sometimes I'm a fixer as well, as you said. And so whenever Lee Allison comes to me and is telling me about either trouble at work or like trouble at school or whatever, I go into fix it mode. Like, okay, well, we need to do this. Maybe we should try this, blah, blah, blah. And I had to learn that sometimes people just need you to listen to what they're going through, and they're not looking for your advice. They're not looking for your support, or not support, but like, they're not looking for you to find a solution. Yeah. They just need you to hear them. And that's great.
That's different. And I feel like I hear that a lot when it comes to the way men and women are in relationships. Like, often men are the fixers and women just want to be validated. That is different, because needing to vent, that's totally understandable. But venting about the same thing that is an easily fixable problem that you refuse to fix because you just want to have problems, that's the problem.
Yes. So two different things, but yeah, that's such an interesting way that we think. Now we've had a lot of really good conversations. Let's have an even better one. Eating pizza with a knife and fork is the best way to eat it. I hard disagree, but what is your point? What do you think, Steven?
It depends on the pizza.
Okay.
If we're talking like,
yeah. Go ahead.
If we're talking just like a cheese pizza that isn't super duper thick, so no toppings, I will eat that with a fork and knife. Because if it's the kind of pizza that falls apart, and it also depends on the setting. Like, if I'm doing something, I'll eat it with a fork. Like if I'm working, I try to not eat pizza with my hands, because my hands get greasy, and so my keyboard gets greasy.
Yep.
But if it's a pizza that has like toppings on it, and like cutting into it will just demolish the whole thing, I don't eat that with a fork and knife, because that ruins the experience. But if it's just like a cheese pizza, like I don't mind eating that with a fork and knife, because it doesn't change anything.
I have the exact opposite opinion.
That makes no
sense. The only
sense.
time I would use not so much a knife but a fork is if we are overloaded with toppings, because what's going to happen is you pick up that slice and it falls apart. It becomes a mess. So you get a fork, you get the piece you want, you get all the toppings in the fork, you take your bite, you're all good.
This is pizzas, not tacos. I don't know where you're getting your pizza to where they fall apart like a hard shell taco.
You're telling me you haven't had a pizza that like a super pizza or something that just, it was real saucy. The sauce is just flowing. My mouth's watering just thinking about pizza right now. And like you pick up your pizza and like all the cheese falls off. You know what I mean? Like everything just comes clean off.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
I know, but maybe it's also that typically pizza for me, I rarely will go up to 3 toppings. I don't ever go beyond that. Like my like pizza for me with the most toppings is a Hawaiian pizza, pineapple, ham, bacon. That's the most toppings I usually have on a pizza. So I never really have that problem to where it's just like overloaded with things that can fall off. But also it depends on the style. Like Courtney's saying, you don't eat Chicago deep dish with your hands because that's like, it's nigh impossible. And also I'm the kind of person that, depending on the situation, welcome to my nightmare that is my head. I hate eating with my hands in front of people because I'm really self-conscious and I'm worried. Like, if you want, again, living hell for me, 1, mic checking in front of my church, 2, eating ribs at a group event. Anything that like is messy and you don't provide me a fork and knife, I won't eat. I'm serious. Because it's
I know you're serious, and I'm not trying to like make light of a thing that like you're seriously self-conscious about, but can you dive in a little bit more? Like, what are you worried about?
That I'll look like an idiot with sauce all over his face.
But like, isn't that gonna happen with a fork and knife too?
See, that's the thing. If you offer me a fork and knife, I can do that. But if you give me like
so you're saying,
if I am out to dinner with Anna and her parents, for example, if it's my family, who cares? They already know enough about me to where what's some sauce on my face? They've changed my diapers, you know? So if I'm with Anna and her family at dinner and I like see on the menu, like a burger with a lot of stuff on it, I am like, I can't order this burger. This sounds delicious, but if I have to eat this with my hands, I'm going to look like a gross barbarian that's not worthy of marrying their daughter. Like, they're gonna judge me. They're gonna hate me.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, but what you're also saying is that you don't mind getting messy in the face. Is what I was gonna say, but that sounds weird. You don't mind getting messy as long as you got messy with a fork and knife. Is that what you're saying?
I don't get messy with a fork and knife, Jake, because I'm precise with a fork and knife.
Okay. All right. Oh man, that's good to know. Joe said he's bringing ribs to the Chortle Games potluck, so
I'll bring my own fork and knife.
Oh man. This person says kites are boring. I've flown a kite only a couple times in my life, and like, it's fine. I wouldn't say it's boring. Because honestly, it's for me at least, my kite flying experiences usually are that it won't fly. So you spend an hour trying to get this thing to fly. By the time it's flying, it's like, woohoo! Yes, like, this is great. So anyway,
Courtney, you're great.
What'd you say? Oh, wings, love it. Yeah, but anyway, Steven, what's your opinion on kites?
They're fine. If you can get them working, they're fun. I feel like they're not as fun as an adult as they were as a kid, but having been a kid who like flew a kite with a character that I liked on the kite, like, that's just a cool feeling. Being like, wow, how is this even working? Wind is super cool. The world is amazing. I could do anything. Like, you know, like, it's one of those things that when you're a kid, it's cool because you're like, I'm making something fly. But as an adult, it's just like,
cool. Something's flying.
Yeah.
Get in line. Everything flies. So this one, the question is weirdly worded, but it basically boils down to mini M&Ms are better than M&Ms. And
as a child, I would have agreed with that, and I don't know why.
I agree with that now. As an almost 30-year-old adult, if you had a bag of M&Ms and the little tubes of mini M&Ms, I'd grab the tube of mini M&Ms 100%.
I did like the tubes. The tubes were fun.
And it's not even the tube. It's just
for me, it's definitely the tube.
They could both be. That's a quote right there. For me, it's the tube. They could both be in bags, but I just like the mini M&Ms better. I don't know what it is about it, but I like it. They're great. For me, it's the tube. Oh my god, I love it. I love it. I love it. Somebody said Sony Pictures animated movies are the worst, and I raise you one.
Into the Spider-Verse.
Into the Spider-Verse. And also, didn't they do? It's the same people who did Into the Spider-Verse. I know that, but Meet the Mitchells, isn't that the one that came
Mitchells
out?
versus the Machines.
That's it. That one. Thank you.
I don't know if it's by Sony, but I still haven't seen that, and I really want to.
I have been told it was one of the breakout surprise hits of was that 2021? I think
so. Anyway. The only scene I know from it is the little brother like calling like some like random place like car insurance or whatever, and they answer and he's like, "Hi, do you want to talk about dinosaurs?" It's like my little brother is just like that. So it's so true. Like if he answered the phone and like he got that spam call, it was like, "Hi, I'd like to talk to you about your extended warranty," he would respond with, "That's cool. Would you like to talk about the American presidents? Because I know a lot about presidents."
That's the new spam call answer right there. Okay, let's see. So this person says dad jokes should just be known as jokes. They said I'd classify a dad joke as a family-friendly joke that a person of any age can understand. Something my dad would say. But the problem with that definition is that anyone can make these jokes, so it's a misnomer to call them dad jokes. It's also a bit stereotypical. Not all dads make dad jokes. Blah 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 blah. I mean, they're
not called dad jokes because they're family friendly. They're called dad jokes because they make the teenage daughter want to literally stop existing when they're said in public around people. That is why they're called dad jokes, because they make you go, "Oh, dad," when they're said.
That was kind of my as soon as I read family friendly, I was like, I don't know that that's necessarily true, but it is definitely something that my dad would say, but that's why we call them dad jokes. Yeah. Like, I understand they're kind of saying like that's limiting, and I understand that, but like, tell better jokes than a dad joke. don't, you don't have to be that. Ooh, now this is the kind of questions I live for. Circles are better than squares. I'm trying to focus in on the question. Circles versus squares, because my original thought was triangles are better than both, but that's not the question. Circles are better than squares. I agree.
The third sentence in their argument, that's why boobs are shaped like circles and not squares. Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, circa 2001.
I knew it was gonna come up. 2001, was that really?
I don't know. I just said 2001.
Okay.
That came to mind. It was probably late 90s.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with circles. I think circles over squares, absolutely. But triangles are better than both. But there you go. Steven, any thoughts on circles?
Triangles are the most compelling of the.
They're the strongest shape.
Also, I'm about to beat triangle strategy for the second time, and I'm totally going to go in for a third.
Great. Yeah. How was the second playthrough?
The second, like once you start to see how little the story deviates from decisions, like you end up in the same place more often than not. But what makes it good is how the world that they've placed in front of you works really well no matter what your choices are. Like a sign of good writing is when you can feel like you had a different journey, but you end up in the same place depending on what you experienced. I think. And like I killed people that I did not kill in my first playthrough in this one. This would definitely be the bad ending for me, because I did my first playthrough, I really knocked it out of the park. I basically made no wrong choices. But this one, man, House Wolfort sucked. So my third playthrough is when I'm going to do what I would consider the end, like, because there's 3 ending choices. And my last playthrough is going to be what I would consider probably the truest ending. So yeah.
Okay. All right.
I just really want to unlock every character, because certain characters are path locked.
Right. Yeah, that's well, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Going in for a third one. That's wild. So Kudos to you for that. Courtney also was saying circles are more aesthetically pleasing, and I agree with that. I use circles a lot in my graphic work, so blah, 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 blah. Okay, someone's saying sweet potato fries are overhyped, and it's a strong disagree.
I love sweet potato fries.
Same here. Steven, have you dipped your sweet potato fries in caramel sauce?
I have not. That sounds
Try that. Buffalo Wild Wings is the only place I know that does it.
Didn't know they had caramel sauce there.
Well, yeah. I forget. It's actually... No, I forget how this all came about. It's... I was with somebody, and they were having cheese curds, I think. And they asked if they could have caramel sauce with it. And it's supposed to go... The caramel sauce is supposed to come with your sweet potato fries. But they like to dip their cheese curds in it. I was just like, they have caramel sauce. Like, I never knew about that. So anyway, I recommend that. And I think that is going to be a great place to end it for tonight's podcast. Go try caramel sauce on your sweet potato fries. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been ChortleCast, the official podcast of Chortle Games. We do this live on YouTube. It's chortlegames.com. Facebook and Twitter. That's both at Chortle Games on either platform. And then also on Twitter or Twitch, twitch.tv/Chortle_games. Usually do this live on Monday nights around 8:30, 8. We stream. So you can come hang out with us there. Or, of course, you can listen to it on your favorite podcast service or watch the VOD later. So whatever you want to do. Have a great time. But it's not the only thing we do here on the channel. We also do live streams typically every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So I think I know I will be here Thursday and Friday. Saturday is up in the air, but definitely Thursday and Friday.
Question for you real quick. Do we want to try a Tuesday stream?
For Back for Blood? Yes. I was going to say, here's what I will bend to your goodwill, sir. I think we asked Jeremy what of those 2 nights is going to work for him, and really what of those 3 nights, because we could throw Friday in there as well. What of those nights work for him? And if he says Tuesday is going to be the one, let's do it for sure. If he says Thursday is going to be better, let's just wait for Thursday.
Okay.
I would love to do. I don't know what else we have on our we need to play this docket, but I want to do more Elden Ring with you. We need to do more Tiny Tina's Wonderlands.
Like a Star Wars, now that we know that we can.
We can. Lee Allison said tomorrow as in Tuesday. That was the question. What did I say something weird?
Tuesday is tomorrow. Tomorrow is Tuesday.
Yeah. What did I say? I'm talking about Thursday. Oh, yeah. I can't do tomorrow because it's Lee Allison's birthday. I'm sorry. I didn't think about that.
Happy birthday,
so really, I was hoping Jeremy would just say Thursday would work better for him, was really what I was thinking in my head. But yeah, so I can't do Tuesday. So hopefully he can do Thursday. But let's see if he can do Thursday or Friday. Okay. And then whichever one he can't, let's do something.
Do we want to throw Wednesday in that mix to see if it works with Jeremy?
Let's ask Jeremy that. Let's ask Jeremy Wednesday, Thursday, Friday he could do, which would be better. And let's plan for Back for Blood on that day. Yeah. And then either Friday or Thursday do Elden Ring or Tiny Tina or something. We'll put up a vote. That's probably what we need to do, because there's lots of things that we want to get back to, but there's only so much time. And then we'll also live stream on Saturday. It may be you, Steven. You and Jeremy might have to pull something. I think I'm going to be out of town.
I'll handle it.
But we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what goes down. But
we'll see how stressed I am with it being Easter on Sunday.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to be nearly as stressed as you, but I planned a photo shoot on Saturday that I still am wondering how I let that happen, because it's obviously going to be a very stressful weekend trying to see family and do all sorts of things. So anyway, I digress. That's going to be it for tonight, though, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And we will see you in the streams later this week or next time. Bye.
Bye.